All right, let's get right into it. We're going to tackle something that, let's be honest, probably drives you crazy. Information overload. This is all about a totally new way to read and think, inspired by the work of a Japanese journalist named Toshinawa Sasaki. And trust me, it's about to flip everything you think you know about focus right on its head.
Does this sound familiar? You sit down, you're ready to read something important, you are determined to focus. You get what, a paragraph in, maybe two, and then, poof, your brain is somewhere else. Your hand just sort of finds its way to your phone, almost on its own.
And it's not just that one article, is it? It's a constant, never-ending flood. News alerts, your social feeds, newsletters, just an endless river of stuff you feel like you should be reading. It feels a lot less like learning and a lot more like you're just trying to keep your head above water.
Well, here's the punchline. If that's you, you are so not alone. And the big idea we're going to unpack today is that this isn't some personal failure. It's not that you lack willpower. It's just the reality of the world we're all living in now.
So, who's our guide through this modern mess? Let's meet Toshino Sasaki. Now, he's not some famous productivity guru you'd see on a TED Talk. He's way more interesting than that. He's what you might call an accidental master of the information age.
And it all started with this one question people kept asking him over and over again. They'd see him connecting all this information from completely different fields and just be baffled, asking, how in the world do you do that? His answer is the key to this whole thing.
And yeah, people really wanted to know. I mean, look at this number. He built a Twitter following of over 780,000 people, not by being a celebrity or posting hot takes, but just by sharing what he was learning day in and day out. You don't get that kind of audience unless you're providing some serious, consistent value.
And this is what makes his ideas feel so real and so doable. He's just a regular guy, a freelance journalist who, basically out of necessity, figured out a practical skill for dealing with the chaos. He calls it a new kind of reading power. And the best part is, he thinks anyone can learn it.
You know, his backstory is what really sells it for me. This is not a guy who grew up surrounded by books in some ivory tower. Far from it. His stepfather actually forbid him from reading and would beat him if he caught him sneaking off to the library. He kind of drifted aimlessly through university for 7 years. It wasn't until the internet came along that he found his footing, realizing that knowledge wasn't locked away anymore. He literally built his entire system from a life that started without knowledge.
All right, so what's the big secret? This is where things take a really sharp turn. The heart of his whole philosophy is a complete 180 on everything we've been taught about focus. It's not about fighting distraction, it's about leaning into it. And here it is, the bombshell. Sasaki says you need to completely, totally give up on the idea of increasing your concentration. He says you don't even need it. You know that little pang of guilt you get when you check your phone while reading? He says, let it go. That struggle to find some mythical, perfect, unbroken hour of focus, stop trying. It's a waste of time. So you see the shift here, right? The old way is this constant losing battle against modern life. The new way says, okay, my attention is scattered. Fine. How can I use that to my advantage? Instead of fighting for one perfect hour, what if you could harness a dozen 5-minute bursts of focus spread throughout your day? Sasaki actually has a term for it, scatteredness power. It's a skill. It's the ability to gather up all those little pockets of time, the 5 minutes before a meeting, the 10 minutes on the bus, and make them all add up to something really powerful. It's about working with your distracted brain, not against it. Okay, that sounds cool in theory, but how does it work in practice? If you just accept that you're distracted, how do you actually make sense of the information fire hose? Well, this is where Sasaki gives us a brilliant, simple framework. He says you should categorize everything you read on 2 simple axes. First, is it horizontal or vertical? Horizontal stuff, like news apps, gives you a wide but shallow view. Vertical stuff, like a deep dive blog from an expert, is narrow but goes way deep. Then you just ask, is it neutral or biased? This simple little grid is like a decoder ring for all media. It helps you instantly get a handle on what you're looking at.
And this is why that grid is so powerful, because the goal of reading in this new world isn't about finding the one right answer. The world's just too complicated for that. The real goal is to collect different pieces from all 4 of those boxes to see a single issue from a bunch of different angles. That's how you build a real, 3-dimensional understanding.
So where is all this going? You're using your scatteredness power to collect all these different viewpoints. Then what? Well, this brings us to Sasaki's ultimate goal, a concept he calls, and I love this, knowledge meat.
Yep, knowledge meat. In Japanese, it's chiniku. And what it means is information that you haven't just read, but that you have fully digested and made a part of yourself. It's knowledge that becomes your flesh and blood. It's not just a fact you can recall, it's something that fundamentally shapes how you think, how you connect ideas, and how you see the world.
And he gives us a clear 4-step recipe for how to build it. Step 1, read widely. Get stuff from all those different media types. 2, start connecting the dots, turning isolated facts into bigger concepts. 3, combine those concepts to build your own personal worldview. And 4, the final step, is to internalize it all until it becomes this intuitive intelligence, your very own knowledge meat.
And here is the ultimate payoff. Sasaki claims that this whole process, this intellectual diet, is how you lay the groundwork for brilliant ideas. You can't just force a breakthrough to happen, but you can dramatically, seriously increase the chances of one happening by feeding your brain this rich, diverse, interconnected knowledge.
So, at the end of the day, this whole thing isn't some simple speed reading trick. It's not just another productivity hack. It's way deeper than that. It's a fundamental upgrade to your entire thinking process. It's about turning the chaotic noise of the modern world into the building blocks of real wisdom and creativity.
So I'll just leave you with this one last question to chew on. For years, we've all been told that our short attention span is a weakness, that it's a flaw we need to fix. But what if that's completely wrong? What if, by learning how to use it, your greatest distraction could actually become your greatest intellectual strength?